Welcome to LB0 Fox India Norwegian Ham Ventures. I'm Morton, LB0 Fox India, and today I have a gray box. But there's something on this box. Let's see what it says. Ailunce high gain YAGI antenna. I think this might be a nice box. Frequency UHF VHF. Gain. Well, gain is always subjective to a lot of things, so a lot of gain. Maximum power 100 watts. SWR less than 1.5. And blah, 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 blah. I think this is a 2 meter, 70 centimeter YAGI. Let's throw this into the other room and start building it. So as you can see, this was a pretty easy build. Nothing too hard about building this antenna, except for the instructions. The instructions are worthless. They're printed so small that you can't really read them. No middle-aged man with middle-aged eyes can read that text. But you don't need the instructions because everything's numbered. Element number 1 goes into hole number 1, element number 2 into hole number 2 and such, and it's just a matter of assembling those, tightening a few screws, and you're up and running. Hey, this is me from the editing room. I forgot to mention that I needed to do a couple of changes on the boom. Because apparently this antenna is designed for vertical polarization and not horizontal polarization. So I needed to drill a couple more holes into the boom in order to just turn the clamp 90 degrees in another direction. So now you know that. No big deal, but might be a deal breaker for you. And now back to our regular programming. So assembly wise, this antenna is really good. Next step though, is to get a QSO, because an antenna on the dining room table isn't worth much. So I went outside, I put the antenna up on my mast, and I started calling CQ on 2 meter FD8. And that's the problem with 2 meter FD8 and 2 meter sideband. It's not always in season. You don't always get a QSO on it. So I did that for a little while and nothing really happened. Then I called a buddy of mine and asked if he wanted to test. So we pointed our YAGIs towards each other and did a little bit of a QSO on FD8. You can see that right here. So as you can see, the antenna works. And I had some plans on showing you nice fancy SWR diagrams of how the SWR is, but there's no need. It's less than 1.3 on both the 2 meter and 70 centimeter bands. So it delivers there as well. And that brings us on to the final part here. Would I buy this antenna? And at the time of recording, the antenna is about $72, including shipping from Retevis.com. And that's pretty much the cheapest 2 meter 70 centimeter dual band YAGI you can buy. And if you're like me, you have a radio that can do sideband and digimodes on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and you want to dabble into this space. This is not for everyone, but if you want to dabble into this space, this is a good starter antenna for that. It'll get you on the air, it'll get you up and running, and it actually works really well, and it delivers as promised. So if Retevis didn't send this antenna to me for free, I probably would have bought it nonetheless. That's how good it is. The only little concern I have are the screws and the nuts and the bolts. They might not be, let's say, they might not be stainless enough to survive a Norwegian winter. But I'll leave the antenna up and we'll revisit this antenna in a couple of months and see if there's any rust on it. If you like this video, please click that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate that. Also consider subscribing. There's always room for more subscribers. And if you want to support the channel financially, there are a couple of options down below to do that. Both Patreon, YouTube memberships, or buy me a coffee. So whatever you want to do, or if you don't want to do anything, I'm fine with that as well. But there are options for everyone here. That's it for now. I'm Martin, LB0 Fox India. You're watching LB0 Fox India Norwegian Adventures. And until next time, 7-3.